Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Karen's particularly stupid. We paid for it. Yes, at the time you did, but guess who also paid for it when they bought the property it's attached to, Karen? OP. It's like harassing someone to sell you the fence they put on your property before they sold it to you, or the deck. That's not how this works, Karen. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Karen demands my hot tub. The previous owner of my house, H, called a few days ago, interested in buying the hot tub I have on my lower deck. I bought the house from him, including the hot tub and shed. When he sold the property to me, he was in an on and off again relationship with his now wife, Karen. I told him in the first phone call I'd want some time to think on it and do some research. I don't use the hot tub, haven't in the year I've lived here, so I was open to selling it. Through his own admission, it was worth $12,000 brand new 2 years ago and had seen very light use. No cosmetic damage beside being dirty. So while playing phone tag with him over the next couple of days, I had the number of around $8,000 or $9,000 to be expected for it. Out of the blue, 2 days ago, Karen calls me and begins to chat with me about the hot tub. I start with asking how they plan to move it. She says they'll hire professional movers, and then I ask what they were thinking as far as pricing goes. She goes into a long monologue about how they put in a lot of sweat equity into the home. They were the ones to buy it and set it up, yada, 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 and then tells me they're looking at around $3,000 for it. Taken aback a bit, I told her I'd have to think on it and that further negotiations would probably be coming. She sounded very annoyed and rushed the entire time on the phone with me like she was working and I was inconveniencing her even though she called me. Fast forward to today. Obviously, I decide to not go through with the sale, and to be gentle about it, I called H and told him that I didn't want to sell it because it's part of the home's value. Partially true, but I didn't want to come out and say that they, or rather Karen, tried to offensively lowball me. H was very understanding and asked me, sounding almost scared, to please text Karen and let her know before H got home. Weird request at the time, but okay, sure. Come to find out, I'm sure he knew what her reaction would be and didn't want to take the full heat for it. I texted her explaining what I told H, and she texted me back, "We left you a super clean place. It had mold and had a lot of sweat equity invested. A couch and a shed a company put in. You personally did not make those improvements. I made others. Yet you'll capitalize on those improvements. That's how real estate works." She then went on to call me as greedy as the market and that asking for the tub wasn't unreasonable because it was barely used at all, and our best wishes on getting what you think you deserve out of our improvements. I've yet to send a reply because I have no idea what to say to her. Edit. The home sale process was different than a typical closing. I live in a park model on leased land. I own the home and all the improvements on the land. I bought directly from the previous owner, with due diligence, of course, including the title and a bill of sale and supporting documents as to what went with the property. And wouldn't you guess, that includes the hot tub. And our second story. Crazy lottery lady gets mad that I can't cash ticket. So for some backstory, I work at a small gas station that has been robbed a few times in the past, so we can only keep around $70 max in our register at night. This lady knows this, and I've explained to her on many occasions that I can't cash any tickets worth more than $40, and that's iffy, this late at night, because it'd leave me with hardly enough money to operate the store. Nor can I even scan them to check if they're winners because it won't let me cancel out anything under $100. So here's where my story begins. Lady buys her ticket, scratches off only the barcode, and hands it back to me to check. Me. "Ma'am, I really am not sure I can scan that ticket without knowing how much it's worth." I don't keep much money up this late, which she already knows. CLL. "You say that every night, and I don't see why you can't cash it or cancel it out. Everybody else can." Which is a lie about the cancellation aspect of it. It's a statewide system. They all work the same. Me. "Well, this is a much smaller store than some of the other ones, and I can only keep so much up." CLL. "Well, you're going to scan it tonight, and you're going to effing cash it if it's a winner." Me. "All right." Scan it, and it's a $60 winner. I can't cancel it out like I said, and only had $50, give or take a few dollars, in my drawer. Me. You won $60. CLL. Good, I'll just take the money. Me. Okay, go stand over there. This may be a while. CLL. What do you mean a while? I want my money. Me. Well, like I told you, I might not be able to cash it. I only have $50 in the register. I also need money to operate, so once I do maybe $35 in sales, I can pay you out. After some huffing and puffing, she went to the corner and waited for roughly 45 minutes as it was late and kind of dead. I'd like to say she probably learned something from this, but from past experiences with her, she's learned nothing. If nothing else, though, I got the satisfaction of watching her getting progressively more pissed that she had to wait, and that's enough for me. And our next story. Neighbor harassing me, paying my contractors to leave work undone, city now threatening me. I have a small family property in North Carolina that I do not live in. It has a small house and a barn/shed on the property. It's outside the city limits, but somehow the local city claims jurisdiction. Not sure how that works legally since there are no city services available, but that's not what this post is about. An elderly neighbor desperately wants to buy the land, and I have repeatedly refused. The tax value is $42,000, but he insists he will fix the situation, so he'll only have to pay me $5,000. So for the last few years, I've dealt with continuous frivolous complaints from the city, such as the grass being a quarter inch above city regulation to improper trimming of brush in the backyard, a backyard visible only if someone trespasses onto the property to investigate. The property's on a small paved driveway and not connected to a major road. Literally, only 2 people ever see it other than me when I'm in town to see it. In the last several months, however, my problems have intensified considerably. I've paid numerous contractors to mow and maintain the yard, and they'll send me pictures of a nice maintained yard, only for me to get a fine 2 days later from the city for an overgrown yard. Mystified, I'd contact these contractors, and they'd ghost me, change their phone numbers, and I'd never hear from them again. I often work out of state, so I can't personally babysit the land myself, and I have no contacts in the area who could check on it. In August, I received a complaint about a collapsed roof on the barn/shed, which confused me as the thing had been in perfect shape just a month prior. Nevertheless, I checked it out a week later when I was back in town, and sure enough, the roof looked like it'd been beaten in with a sledgehammer. Not sure if it was vandalism or a result of years of weathering. I decided to just have the shed removed, which is what the city requested I do in their letter. So contractor number 1 hired to bush hog and trim the overgrown yard, after the last 2 contractors stiffed me the 2 months prior, and to remove the shed and haul away the shed. We signed a contract this time as I was wary of another no-show. I get the runaround from him for 2 months while I'm stuck out in Texas working. Then when I get back at the beginning of November, absolutely nothing has been done. I demand a refund and he gives me a partial refund. I'm planning legal action against him as I type this. Contractor number 2. As he begins the process in December, the neighbor approaches him, harasses him, and tells him he needs to leave. Contractor politely tells him the property is mine, not the neighbor's, and he has my permission to be there and work. When harassment doesn't work, the neighbor inquires how much I paid contractor to do the work, then offers to match it and pay the contractor if he'll leave the work undone while lying to me and telling me he was making progress. Contractor impolitely tells neighbor where he can stick it and to leave before he calls police for trespassing. The contractor had to leave some of his equipment there during the massive snowstorm we had right afterwards, and returned to find his equipment mysteriously trashed, leaving him unable to finish the job right away, though he's still working on it slowly as I'm in town right now and can verify progress. This is virtually a zero-crime area. Right after this exchange, the city receives a complaint that the barn/shed has collapsed, even though both neighbors were clearly informed and spoke to the contractor that the building was being disassembled and demolished. Indeed, half the building is already gone and the debris is being carted away. One neighbor's very friendly and understanding, and not friendly to the harassing neighbor down the driveway. So I seriously doubt they filed the complaint. I have a hearing with the city in a week, and now they're threatening to fine me $50 a day, every day, until the building is gone and the yard is cleared. I have pled with them about the neighbor paying off my contractors and preventing the work from getting done, but they've been aggressive with me and do not care. This neighbor's trying to destroy my hopes of moving back home to this property. I have no idea what to do. With the contractor's equipment being sabotaged, he can't get everything removed in time, and I've been bled dry of money and can't hire anyone else now. Edit. I'm now getting a lawyer, and thanks to another friend, I'm getting another contractor, so maybe I can get this mess solved. For those wondering why I'd want to move back somewhere with such an unfriendly neighbor, well, he's pushing 85 and I'm 34. Universe willing, I'll outlast him in the end. And our last story. Got the neighborhood kids arrested. Recently purchased a home and I have a huge yard, like 5+ acres. Recently found out the neighbor's kids had an unspoken agreement with the previous owner that they could come on to the back portion of the property to get away from their parents. I find out these little craps are drinking, smoking, not cigarettes, having bonfires and shooting squirrels and birds with pellet rifles. I went to their house, warned their parents they're no longer welcome on my property. I find them, I crap you not, a day later having a bonfire with like 10 kids and they're all drinking. I call the cops, they arrive, arrest like 4 kids, including the neighbor's kids. I'm pretty sure I could get into legal trouble if one of them got into medical trouble while on my property and underage drinking, especially since I feel like they would say some bullcrap like I let them or something, not to mention I hate them burning on my property. These are young kids. I doubt they know how to have a controlled burn. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.